Bonjour, mon ami.
Hey, allez, bonjour, on n'a pas tout ça.
Ça va, toi, Joe?
Bonjour.
C'est ça.
Ça va?
Ouais, je me porte très bien.
Okay, it's okay.
Chez toi?
It's okay.
Oh, you should.
Ça va très bien?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't do it.
Thank you for keeping it there. I beg. Something is watching.
We never did carry last. Well, that's how we usher you into the news review this morning. Tuesday, day number 26 in the month. Let's dig into the papers.
So I'll do the Ghanaian Times, the Finder newspaper, and the Daily Dispatch.
I have the Daily Graphic, Punch, Daily Guide, and Economy Times.
All right. Let's say good morning, if we can, to Joseph Akable, our court correspondent. It's a big court day today. He joins us via Zoom. Joseph, if you're there, good morning. Okay, Joseph is not with us, but he will certainly join us in the course of this review. Let me start with the Finder newspaper, because when I ended the news, I talked about the fact that the GIJ, the Ghana Institute of Journalism, has shut down. So here's what's on the front page of the Finder newspaper this morning. You find the GIJ story there. They said they are temporarily closed down after 2 lecturers tested positive for COVID-19. My father was passionate about a lot of things. That's Zanato Rollins talking about a father that she's lost. Well, they were closer to him the most, I guess, and they can feel the loss more than any of us can claim that we do. Also on the front page, can we show the front page of the Finder newspaper, or I have to share it? Okay, so in a bit you see it on your screen. Academic work progresses steadily in some senior high schools in Accra. Only 3 students infected with COVID-19 since school reopened. That was also revealed by the Ghana Health Service Director General yesterday at the press conference. COVID-19 spike is a recipe for lockdown, upon Nkrumah emphasizes observance of safety protocols. MTN Ghana gets approval to buy back 1 million shares. It's also another story. So there you have it. That's what's on the front page of the Finder newspaper this Tuesday.
Well, I believe we'll soon be joined by Akable, but in the interim, let me also touch on the Daily Graphic. So Akable is with us now. Joseph, let me just say good morning to you right before we proceed.
Good morning, Ben. It's good to see you.
It's always good to have you. And you're masked up. You're doing the right thing. Congratulations to you. Anyway, so it's quite a lot we're looking forward to in court this morning. But I know you have some papers. So maybe let's take a look at the papers you have before we proceed.
Yes, and so I can do the front page of the BNFT. I also have the Daily Statesman with me as well, and the Daily Guide. And so first, the front page of the Daily Guide, it says Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rollins. Annette is on the front page here. License states at AICC. And Mahama begs courts to amend petition. Again, it's also on the front page. And Indian envoy Lord Snapo impact and reject Mahama delayed tactics, is according to President Akufo-Addo's legal team. The center spread of the Daily Guide has Edinarte's wife dies, a very sad story there. NBSSI opens digitalization support scheme application, also another story in the center spread. The other story has to do with reduced lending rates, is from the construction chamber to government. And DKB defends Cecilia Marfo over Joyce Blessing's drama, also another story in the center spread. The front page of the Daily Statesman, quickly, it says, farewell, Jerry John Rollins. And another lockdown may hit Ghana. Government worried about rising trend of COVID-19 cases. And to continue or to stay proceedings, Supreme Court rules on Mahama's application today, also on the front page of the Daily Statesman. The last one for me will be the BNFT. And the front page has this story that GRA taps data scientists to go after tax deviance, and especially high net worth individuals. FDIs won't make continent lose African Continental Free Trade Agreement benefits, also on the front page. The back page has Olam receives top employer recognition in 2021. and Emirates to play key role in industry rebound, also on the back page of the BNFT ban.
Well, thank you very much, Joseph, and we'll be getting into the details shortly. But let me take a bit of a swipe, if you like, at the Daily Graphic. This morning it says, tears flow as mourners bid farewell to Rawlings. I think yesterday was the BBC also that interacted with Dr. Zaneto Rawlings. Interesting. And I also chanced upon some of those pictures, I think, from one of these recent celebrations of the family, the former president with the wife, the children, and all of that. It just brings back such fond memories of the man. And of course, he's in transition. We're saying goodbye to him. And we'll be bringing you the details, actually, all of that this morning. GHS, the Ghana Health Service, intensifies community surveillance for COVID-19 variant. You know, I hear the vaccines, the Pfizer, the AstraZeneca ones. Apparently now we have the UK strain and the South African strain, and apparently they are more effective on the mutated version in the UK. But the South African one is on kakra. So we wait to see how potent they will be against these. But we are praying that, Charlie, at least both of them have shown signs of being potent against the virus. How potent now is the issue. Election petition, Mahama files fresh application to amend processes. Then there's a lot about COVID-19. Saw the story. So it talks about family of Dr. Amwako Tufo calling on the MPP leadership, one of the founders, so to speak, of the party. And you'd remember him for the Ghana school feeding program. On the back page, restrict numbers at former President Rawlings' funeral. The GMA president is urging government. He has shared his thoughts on that. That's it with the Daily Graphic. Later, we'll bring you some details of that.
Okay, let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Next, on the front page of the paper, upsurge in COVID-19 cases. Government will enforce stricter measures if we continue going the way that we're going. Of course, that's according to Kojo Pong Kroma. Also on COVID-19 scare, Ghana Medical Association raises concern over crowd turnout at Rawlings' funeral. Listen, even before they came out with their statement yesterday, Senor Hossi, who is a managing trustee of the private sector COVID-19 fund, had written something on this and was urging the state to do a virtual, if you like, a virtual funeral for people to be able to follow it and not necessarily go to the conference center. But I guess that call is too late. I don't know if there will be anything done immediately after the statement. Well, today's the second day.
Because when I saw Senor Hosi's, piece, there still was time. And I'm telling myself, look, even if it's an hour to time or 2 hours to time, and you're seeing that the figures are skyrocketing and there's the potential of, what we call super spreaders. Why can't you just say, it may be a bit late in the day, but you know what? Members of parliament or those who are going to be present, let's halve it. Let's do this. I don't feel it was too late at all. I feel we had, some 24 hours or so to react? Wow.
Well, okay, so hundreds mourn Rawlings. More to file pass remains today. What did I just say? Okay, it's not me saying, it's the paper saying, but that's what we know will happen. I guess it's not necessarily even the filing pass, because I've seen, yesterday when we started broadcasting, you see when they're in the queues, they're given the sanitizers, they're spacing out, they're controlling those at least who go into the main hall. I guess the situation with what happens outside in terms of the numbers, but it's the
when all is said and done and the people come out, and let's not forget the new strains of the virus coming, they are more contagious. Which means that at first, maybe I'm not a scientist.
But to be fair, if they're protecting themselves, and as we've seen with all the people who have, gone to the conference center, at least what we've seen on television, we've seen people wearing their mask, people sanitizing. It's the funeral that I worry about. That's the one that will be held at the Black Star Square.
Right.
I wonder if we'll be able to control, because you see, there will be invited people, people who will be accredited to be there. But this man who has passed on, Jerry John Rawlings, ordinary people connected with him. Yeah. So there will be plenty of people who just want to show up, not because they have a special invitation.
But will they have access? That's another
They would
thing.
want to be close to the Black
Because
Star
even the
Square
media,
somehow.
I mean, we have to operate in a certain way when it comes to this. My only concern, Mavi, is that this virus, there are people who are masking up, sanitizing, washing their hands, social distancing. They're still getting it.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Let's just be extra careful. That's all I can tell you, because I always say someone gets it and lives on, survives, maybe with some health complications. Others get it and they die.
True. We've heard many stories like that. There's a last story, a last headline on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Fire destroys goods worth over 2.7 million Ghana cedis at Wa Kejetia market. Details of that, page 3. Also, 9 died, 52 injured in 2020 fire accidents in Tema. And then the police are investigating a case in which 4 officers of the National Ambulance Service were held hostage at a house at Cantonment in Accra for failing to convey a dead body to the mortuary. So the ambulance service was called, according to the story. They knew they were going to carry a sick person to the hospital. They got there and they realized the person had died, and they refused to carry the dead person to the hospital. Family insisted. They said they would not do it. They wanted them to convey the body through, as in call for a hearse to convey the body, and not.
I was just about to say, I'm sure they were trying to make it clear that they were not a hearse.
And then
and you know, there
family
are certain complications, differences between carrying someone who has an illness that needs an emergency and carrying, so to speak, a corpse, a dead body.
Yeah.
So
because they refused, they also said, then you're not going anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, so they held them hostage. That's what the police is investigating. That's the allegation. Details of that story, page 3 in the Ghanaian Times, if you want to read on. In the center spread, well, the paper has actually dedicated quite a number of pages. So they've got a special supplement in the Ghanaian Times today with lovely memories in the center spread of former President Jerry John Rawlings with family, friends, people he worked with, Achimota days, celebrations. You can grab the paper and check out the special supplement. On the back page, Ghana water crisis hit Tamale Metropolis and its environs. And then FDA destroys unwholesome products in Koforidua. That's it for the Ghanaian Times. Joseph?
Hi, Joe. Okay, so I think he would go into his stories, but because I still have some headlines from the Punch News.
Oh, okay.
I'll just add them through, and the Economy Times, just a few of those. Bagman rejects majority's attempt to halt vetting. Attacks on democracy, Dr. Rashid Pelpo's account. He talks about what happened on December 7th, the election, and certain happenings that shouldn't have occurred. Kumasi Mayor others to serve another term, but unfortunately the likes of Dr. Archibald Lecture getting quite, would you say, a run for their money, or some pressure from the grassroots saying, Charlie, yeah, he's qualified and all, but the man, he's not serving the party well. Hey, politics. But I followed the event. An interesting bit though, I thought they said they wouldn't allow the people to demonstrate. And then they did demonstrate and the police was looking on. Hey. Economy Times, Bank of Ghana to hold policy rate at 14.5 as virus resurges. ID card for mobile transactions. Date extended to April the 1st. So those are the headlines. I'm done now. Akable, if you can hear me, do kickstart the conversation. Which of the papers are you going with?
Okay, so I'll deal with the stories relating to the election petition today. And what I was trying to do yesterday was to make a list of the issues that are outstanding because Mavi had asked that we talk about it, and there were lots of them.
So many of them. And then yesterday we had another thing was filed.
Absolutely. So at my last count in the evening, we are at number 6. And so I'll just run through the issues. So the first is that there is a request for stay of proceedings. This is by Mr. Mahama's legal team. The team holds the view that until the court deals with its review, which is scheduled for Thursday, the trial should not proceed. And so there's that request. The president's team has a counter request that this particular issue should not be granted by the court. And so that is the first issue. The second is the review itself. It is asking the court to take a second look at its decision not to allow the EC chairperson answer some 12 questions. Now, this particular review is originally slated to be dealt with on Thursday. And so closely linked with this review is number 3, is Mr. Mahama's lawyers asking to be permitted to file additional arguments to bolster their review request and make changes to a paragraph. So that is the third issue that is before the court. The fourth is the Electoral Commission, still connected to this review, asking the Supreme Court that it hears and deals with the review today instead of Thursday. So that is what you hear the lawyers call abridgment of time. So they're asking that the court abridges the time and have them hear and deal with the review today instead of coming back on Thursday to deal with the review. And we also know that with the review, you'll have 2 judges joined it already, the 7 judges in place. And so if the court is even minded to grant that, it will mean that the court should by now have announced or informed those 2 judges to enable them be ready so that once it decides to grant the abridgment, they could be readily called upon to join the panel. And so the other 2 issues that are already outstanding, even prior to today, is Mr. Mahama's team's quest to inspect and run copies of documents in the custody of the Electoral Commission, and finally also wanting the EC chairperson to admit to 18 facts, entirely different from the 12 questions they are seeking a review on. And so this comes to 6 the outstanding issues that are before a court that ordinarily is sitting today just to start hearing an election petition. And so the business for the day was actually supposed to be a witness being called to testify on behalf of Mr. Mahama. Already we know that Mr. Mahama's team has not filed any witness statement, which means that as it stands, there is no evidence backing the petition. We know that the Electoral Commission and Mr. Akufo's legal team have already filed witness statements. Mr. McMahon will be the star witness for the president's legal team, while the EC chairperson has also filed a witness statement to that effect. And so that is where we are today. And so for those who are wondering what will be happening today, these are the number of things that could the court deems very important and decides to deal with.
Yeah, Joseph, this is getting interesting, maybe complicated, I guess, for ordinary persons such as ourselves following this, because today was supposed to be the beginning of the substantive matter.
Absolutely, and then I mean, I guess the simplest of ways we can put across the story is the fact that there are just various issues that the lawyers believe are crucial to their case that they want the courts to deal with. And I mean, the indication we got from the panel when it gave its ruling on the request for interrogatories, if you recall, the Chief Justice made reference to the CI 99, which gives them 42 days and says the court is bound and intends to strictly adhere to that particular timeline. Today is day 28. The counting starts from when the petition was filed, which was on the 30th of December. So it's been 28 days, and that leaves the court with 14 days to deal with Mr. Mahama's petition. And that is where we are. Exactly 14 days. This should have been disposed of.
So let me ask you, you're a court correspondent. As you go to court today, which issue are you, why are you going to court? On which of the issues?
We are going to court because Mr. Mahama's petition is going to be heard today. We really don't know which of the issues the court will deal with. But we understand that it's more likely that the first one it may deal with has to do with the request to supplement the review documents. We understand that that is what may be taken first. Then afterwards, the other ones relating to the stay of proceedings and the abridgment of time are the ones that could also, because they have potential to affect what happens. And so that is the order of proceedings that we expect to take place. And so, yes, we are going because the petition is in court, not because of any specific issues, because there are just too many of them, and we do not know which one will be dealt with as soon as possible.
Okay, great.
Interesting times ahead. I'm just interested in how both sides, or should I say all sides, are digging their heels in. You know, the EC with what it's been saying concerning the NDC's petition, the presidency, and now the back-to-back petitions by the NDC. And pretty interesting. And Joseph, I don't envy you in these times at all with all of this happening. But we'll see how it pans out. Just a few days, about a fortnight.
Here's what we're going to do on the show. We know that, the whole court processes can get a bit confusing. We've got a lawyer on standby who will be joining us a little after 8 a.m. Today's court session is expected to start at 9:30. So before that, we will have the conversations and break all the issues down for you so that you would have a better understanding when the court begins its processes this morning. But what Joseph has also done fantastically well, if you go to myjoyonline.com, he's also broken the issues down with what has happened. Just click on the last story on My Jawline, and then you would see the related story so you don't get confused with this election petition, the 2020 edition, which is more complicated maybe at this stage. Okay, any other stories, Ben?
Well, I'll do this one on page 13, back to COVID-19, just to share what the Ghana Health Service has been telling us. And that body has intensified community surveillance to ascertain whether the new coronavirus disease variant is spreading within communities. I think I can give them the answer to that. And addressing the media at the minister's briefing, a national platform, of course, we know of that. The Director General of the GHS, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, said the service was also closely monitoring to pick any mutation of the virus to enhance the national response. In other words, they have not detected the new UK and South African COVID-19 variants in communities, and its detection at the airport among international travelers and the change in pattern of the disease spread and severity. But of course, yesterday we also heard of that threat, if you like, or a repeat of that threat. We first heard it from Mr. President recently in his 22nd address. If we don't comply, if we don't do the right things, we may have to endure a lockdown. It was reiterated yesterday as well. And Mamavi, now all 16 regions, initially we had it in 13, all 16 regions, we have we are getting about 600 cases per day. And our ICUs, from what we hear, are full. Look, a few days ago, I encountered something that I will not share for now. I put it on social media, but believe you me, the best thing is to just stay away from this little monster called COVID-19. And all you have to do is follow the protocols. I'll end just by adding this. Yesterday, I saw a neighbor from where I was standing returning from work. She didn't have a mask. And I asked her, why are you not masked? You know what she told me? She told me she had not donned the mask since this disease came around and she hadn't contracted it. And secondly, if you're thinking like that, I beg you, change your mind before it's too late.
Yeah. We've got Dr. Yao Bediako, who is an immunologist with the University of Ghana, joining us alongside Professor Kwame Nasego, virologist with the University of Ghana Medical School. They will be joining us on this conversation with COVID-19. If you have any ordinary question that you want to put to them. Listen, the weather has changed. You can feel that this is the weather, this is the viral weather they say. This is the weather that you get, flu weather, I think. You get a lot of, yeah, exactly. So we want to talk about the changes in the weather and the changes in terms of these days. They say you can get malaria, that is simply not going away, or typhoid. Like everything has changed about COVID-19. What can we learn from that? What's the latest? Some say my tummy, and then it ends up being COVID-19. Some would say, I've heard like Mississippi, and then it turns out that they turn out to be COVID-19 positive. What is really happening? We will talk about that when we get our specialists when they join us this morning. But there's a message that was put on Facebook, and if we can, I have it, if we can, we will show you the Facebook page. Joseph Akable, you're with us, right? Okay. This is Dr. Radha Hackman on Facebook, and she writes, as I read, the situation in Accra is quite dire with more severe and critical cases every day. The COVID treatment centers are full. Seriously, I would impose my own personal lockdown if I were you. Avoid all social gatherings in Accra, parties, church services, funerals, clubs, hangouts, etc. Watch the state funeral on TV instead of attending in person. Get tested for COVID if you have flu symptoms, and please, please, please stop self-medicating for malaria. Stop the spread in the office. Don't go to work if you feel unwell. Work from home if you can. Go back to shift system. You had just, after lockdown last year, it worked. Boost your immunity. Fruits and vegetables do wonders for your immune system. Spend time outdoors because fresh air, sunshine, and exercise strengthen our immune system. Get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. It will help you fight off this infection. Avoid stress and maintain a positive attitude. Drink lots of water and stay hydrated. This is a doctor's advice. And this is...
Very good advice at that.
Yeah. Very simple. Take it and take care of yourself. Yeah. We've got sports. Oweko Ampofo has a lot of details in sport. Chelsea, Lampard is no more, but they say he's still their icon. He lives on.
Icon,
Oweko Ampofo has plenty of stories in sports. Stay with us.